welcome back, my friends, to the Philip Cockram channel. If you're new here, thank you for joining me. Today we've got a couple of little unboxings and a little test for you of some stoves. This is just some emergency prepared stuff. Let's get into these stoves, right? So one's propane, one's isobutane. The difference between the two fuels is not very much. It basically comes down to the boiling point. It's a little bit lower for propane, which means it's a little bit better for outdoor and sub-zero conditions than butane is, right? And you see this one says actually isobutane on the box. The difference between isobutane and butane is, again, small and negligible, right? It basically comes down to, its atomic structure and stuff like that, right? So again, it's negligible. I think you get a little bit more BTUs, which is, power or heat coming out of butane than propane. But again, it's a negligible difference. So let's open up this little guy first, and we're going to actually do a little boil test here. I got a pot of water ready to go, and yeah, we're going to see how long it takes to one of these guys to work, right? So we'll do some unboxing here first, right? Instructions, we're not going to need those. Looks like it comes with a little carrying bag. It's nice. Our actual stove itself. It's just a little guy. There's lots of these things out on the market. Lots of different types and styles. This guy was on sale. It was $13.43. It's a nicely made thing. It feels very solid and stuff like that. So it screws right onto the top of these tanks, like so. Got the valves open. Screw that on, just hand tight, it's okay. So this is your valve. I always use, you could hear it, the gas coming out. So we'll try this guy out for boiling some water, I think, because this says 11,000 BTUs. Each of these burners on this stove is 10,000. So, it's going to be pretty much around the same time. So let's open up this guy. Let's see what we got here. This was $50 at Canadian Tire. Walmart has one that's almost identical for the same price. So, it's pretty cheap. Of course, you can spend more if you so desire, but that's the minimum. There's some single ones out there, but they cost almost as much as a double. And I figured, well, it's kind of a good idea. Maybe, you're going to cook something and boil some water at the same time, maybe. So there's your little wings. Protective cardboard in there. Sorry, then I will hook that up because it's going to hit my stand. There we go. They had another model that was fiddly. That was, I think, $20 more, and it had like a stainless steel bottom to it, or like it was like another pan that went in there. It was stainless steel. So just a sec, I'm going to get this unhooked for you. It only took a few more seconds to get that cardboard out, and this thing was strapped in the side, so it kind of easily just unscrews and comes off the little regulator, and you can see your bottles screw right onto there. You can't really see on the side, but let me move that over a little bit. So your bottles screw right on there. That's a nice, well-made little thing. I think you got enough room for a couple of 10-inch pans on there. There's a small saucepan, but you get the idea, right? It's the size of my hand there. So now, another thing that I got, which I would recommend too, is this adapter hose. I'll pull it out of the package so you guys can see a little bit better. So what this hose will do, this will go onto a full-size propane tank, which I have, and then you can screw this piece here right onto the valve of the stove, and you're in business. So you don't have to use the smaller bottles if you don't want to. Obviously, it'd be a little bit more efficient to use bigger ones. And there's also a little adapter you can get to fill up these smaller 1 pound bottles from a bigger tank, whether it be a 30 pound tank or even an 80 pound tank. You can get a little adapter that you can refill these guys up with. So yeah, give me a couple of different options for fuel. Obviously, you could use this for a little bit of heat too if it got really cold, but I don't recommend that because of the air quality and stuff like that. You definitely want to have high ventilation if you're doing something like that. So let's move this guy aside, set up the little one, and boil some water. We'll be right back. All right, let's fire this thing up. Seems like a fairly low setting, I think. Now, what's more exciting than watching water boil? Not too much, I don't think. So we'll, you'll have to trust me. We'll do a little time lapse here. So just a second. It's 4:06 right now, and so we're going to pause this and we'll resume it when it's boiled. Well, 2 minutes in and it's already hot. Not going to take much longer. I forgot to mention too that there's another little adapter that you can get to change the threads from this little butane one to the threads that are on this one here. So you're not stuck with using just that one fuel, which I think I'm going to get one of those. They're only $4 or $5 or something, so handy to have. All right, well, it's 4:10. It's been 4 minutes and it's already starting to bubble down at the bottom there, you can see. I think we're only another minute or two away from it boiling. So for the money, I think that's kind of a no-brainer. There's a lot of those little guys online. I actually had to go and get it from the warehouse, so to speak, at the back because it wasn't on the shelf for some reason at Canadian Tire. They only had the one that was $79. It looked exactly the same as this, but I think it's made out of titanium. That's why it's, it's supposed to be a little bit more rugged. But still, you could have 4 of those for the price of the other one, right? So, and I've seen some other kits that some have a little hose, some come with a little base thing to hold it on. I would definitely not recommend using the smaller type canisters of butane and stuff like that because they're really expensive. They're a little bit more convenient if you're hiking or something like that, but this is for home use, right? This one here I might use when I'm out camping or something like that, right? But the cook stove is for emergency home use. It barely takes up any space. It gives me a lot of peace of mind to know that I can still cook if the power goes out. We've been pretty lucky here so far this winter. There's only been a few outages, but it can happen at any time, and so it's a good idea to be prepared. Also, there's a sickness going around, and it's not looking good. So I'm not going to say the word because it'll get this video demonetized. Even if you say one word, your video will be demonetized, right? So anyway, just a quick little wrap up here. We can see the water is starting to boil nicely. The little valve here is, it's a little bit touchy on the thing, but it works, So the stove was $49. This one was $13.43. That hose was like $25 or something like that for the hose. These 1 pound propane bottles you can find for about $7 a piece. And again, you can refill them from the bigger ones, right? You know, if you don't know what you're doing, I don't recommend you doing that. Okay, you know, it is dangerous. Like I said, it's right there, extremely dangerous. So I would say we've got boiling water, folks. Right? That was 5 minutes from, and the water was cold to begin with, and she's boiling now. So I think it's time to make a coffee. Stop this video, do some editing, and get it posted up on the internet. Thanks for joining me today, folks. Love and peace from Canada. As always, we are YouTube.
This is all the same, you know, it's just deserts and people with capes.